And I'm telling you from the bottom of my soul, it is so easy to beat people today. They are so soft. They have no work ethic. No one can stick with anything. Everyone's distracted. They're on social media. They're counting their fucking notifications because they can't stick with shit. They can't say no.
People struggle to do things alone. And the path of the exceptional person is one of an exception, which means that you are not with other people. Most people live lives of quiet desperation because they're hoping to find a way around work. But work is the way.
If you want to be exceptional, by definition, you will be the exception. You will not be normal. You will be unlike the others. And so it makes sense that you would be in the out group. And it hurts as a human being because you want to be in the in group. It's part of our DNA. Shame is a real thing. And we don't want to feel that because in the natural world, if you're outside of the group, you have a much lower likelihood of living and procreating. So it's strong in our DNA to be in group. But the thing is that you're actually not in group or out of group. You're transitioning.
Almost every successful person that I have ever encountered has gone through not a month or a year, but many years of doing work without reward, where they have to do things that other people find boring, and they have to sacrifice things that everyone finds interesting, that most people want to do during that entire season of their life. And they basically sacrifice a season of other things that they would prefer to do stuff that they would not prefer to do because of the one thing they want most.
Because like nothing exceptional takes little time.
Wherever you point the finger of blame, power follows. And so whoever I blame for the life I have is the person who I give all the power over my existence, over my circumstances. And so it hurts. But if you turn the finger inwards and you start saying, I don't like my life. The person that I need to punish or get back at is the real person who got me here, which is me.
And you only get good at a skill by not being good at a skill and repeating it and then failing at each time and then making incremental improvements, which take many, many repetitions until you actually get good.
If you can shift from this is hard to no one else will be able to do this, then it flips from being this thing that you're like, oh, poor me, to oh, poor everyone else who's going to have to fucking try. And I think that is so much more motivating as a frame for the exact same circumstance.
If you go back, let's go back 20 years. Like what thing really bothered me 20 years ago? I probably can't even tell you what really bothered me 20 years ago. And so I can probably expect that what's bothering me today, I'll feel the same way 20 years from now. And so if it's not going to matter then, it probably shouldn't matter now.
You create passion, you don't find it. And you create it by being willing to suck for a very long period of time until you get good. And then when you get good at stuff, you tend to like it. One. I think fear exists in the vague, not in the specific.
The only way that you're going to get ahead is that you have to make bets. You got to make bets on education. You got to make bets on opportunities. You got to make bets on inventory. You got to make bets on software. You want to start a Shopify store. You want to start a school community. You want to start something. It's still going to cost some money.
The lessons you learn on the first thing you do don't become apparent sometimes until the third, fourth, or fifth thing you do. But that third, fourth, or fifth thing you do, the fact that you did that first thing gives you a unique advantage compared to everyone else who didn't. And so following the tried and true path, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's also nothing wrong with learning, there is never a downside to learning more skills, period. Your work-life balance obsession may just be too narrowly focused on the present and not extended into seasons. And so you can have work-life balance where I work for 3 years and then I have a more chill year. And I think that most people think about work life in terms of their split of the day rather than their split of the year or the decade. And I think that you can have a much better outcome on both sides if you were to split it up on a longer time horizon.
Most short-term problems are actually long-term benefits.
I think like the people who move faster than life learn faster. And the only way you learn is by changing your behavior with the same conditions, which means that if a person walks in, I say, this is my 6-point script. A person who's identical walks in right afterwards. If I've learned something, that script changes. It means same condition, new behavior.
Like how long after you do something embarrassing is it funny? Right? Like at some point for almost all of us, with enough time, the shameful experience becomes funny. Anxiety is many options but no priorities, which is why you feel scattered but you can't decide. They feel very different, but fundamentally, those are the difference in the conditions that make people feel like they're anxious or they feel like they're sad. And so when we're working through what you were just talking about with, okay, I want to be gym guy and I also want to be work guy, we have many options, but a lack of priorities. And so we have anxiety over the fact that we're not making progress on any of them because we have not been able to say, this comes first. And so if we think about what priority means, it means prior. It comes before everything else. And what I think a lot of people have a hard time doing is being okay with saying no and saying, okay, I will allow myself to just not get fatter rather than get fitter during this period. To be useful to other people, you need to improve yourself. And think, okay, how can I be useful to other people? And I think if you do that, you'll actually start focusing on the tasks and on people outside of yourself, and you'll be amazed at how much better you feel overall.
Your feelings can lie to you in terms of how well this behavior is serving you with your goals in the long term.
When you're looking at the assets that you have, assets can also be skills, resources, what you have available to you. Now, if you have nothing, then all you have is your brain, your hands, and the time that you have that you can put towards learning something, which is why I'm a big fan of skill acquisition as one of the primary things that you can do is educating yourself. To get out of sadness, and I've been sad many times in my life, the thing that's helped me get out of it is realizing that a perceived lack of options is what causes sadness, not a lack of options, a perceived lack of options, which means that all I have to do is figure out what I need to do.
If you can shrink the time between saying you want to learn something and beginning to try the thing and extend the time before you say, hey, this is hard, then you will be able to accomplish way more than you think. You can learn most things in 20 hours. The problem is that most people delay the first 20 hours by years.
People will describe a situation like sunny days or rainy days. And they say sunny days like they're good days and rainy days like they're bad days. But if you're in a drought, rainy day comes from heaven and another sunny day comes from hell. Mm-hmm. And on the flip side, if you have a wedding the next day, a rainy day sounds horrible and a sunny day sounds amazing. And the crazy thing is that there's two people praying for the same thing at the same time. One's going to be upset and the other person isn't.
You always have to be the person who roots for you before everyone else does. Like the amount of times when I was on my lonely path where I was too different from the friends that I had, but not successful enough to be friends with the people that I wanted to be friends with. That's when you want people to root for you. That's when you want people to support you. Once you've already won, people are like, he's amazing, he's so good. But like, that's the time when you need it the least. People only root for people who don't need it.
If people saw how much work I put into my art, they wouldn't think it's as exceptional as it is.
I think the difference between a video game and life is that that interval isn't set. And so you're not necessarily going to have a quick win at level 1 because it's more like you basically get none until you're at level like 20 and then all of a sudden it all comes. And so I think that's the difficult part.
If you have gone through hardship or you are going through hardship, this is the opportunity to prove to yourself, not anyone else, that you are who you say you are and you are made of what you say you are made of. And you can choose to allow that hardship to make you harder, to make you more resilient, to make you more persistent, to make you more relentless, to make you more driven.
The people who are obsessed are the ones who change the world. At least change their world. If you do a 4 out of 10 on 10 things, you will make progress on none.
The more obsessive I become about anything, the more positive feedback I get on a longer time horizon. And that's the part that most people struggle with.
I'm okay being the guy who says, fuck your mental health. I'm okay with it because I've given it a lot of thought. I think that the other side is wildly overrepresented. And I'm willing to sit on the logical extreme because I think it will help more people. Like my favorite days are the days that I get into bed and I'm fucking exhausted, but proud of the work that I've done. I have nothing left. I've left it all on the field. You have to make big bets. So you have to be willing to go to zero. But at the same time, knowing that not all bets are going to be good ones.
You want to do repetitions because by doing things more times, you get better at them, typically just by accident.
If I am very angry with someone, it's become a check for me where I'm like, oh, I must not understand something. Like there's something about them or something about their experience that has made me not understand why they do what they do.
If you work very hard and you create something that's very valuable for society, I promise you, you will be able to find a hotter wife. I promise you, you will have the money that you want. I promise you, you can buy the time that you want to have. You will have all of that at your disposal.
There are more people that I have met in my life who are dissatisfied by their live it up 20s than dissatisfied by their work it up 20s.
Ask the girl, shoot the shot, launch the business, run the ad, quit the job, take the risk. Because when you're 85 years old and on your deathbed, you're not going to wish you had fewer crazy stories.